3 coplanar points.
There are assholes
and bam,
that just talk
there's
bollocks all the time.
radius of the Earth.
On the level.
The way I phrase it is a monument to the curvature of the Earth. It really is.
Level.
It really is.
Level.
And bam, there's the radius of the Earth.
While you're here, Rick, here, we've got I've got sat on the cutting board a soundly going over his bridge, your bridge, right? From Gems. It's along with the triangle, Gem misunderstanding triangles. But in there, Soundly, I asked Soundly about drawing a line from one end, you know, like Jesse did. He makes a level line from one end of the bridge to the other end of the bridge. And I say, you can make a straight line with that. And is that to you? He said, is that curved? And he goes, yeah. Right, so a straight line, if you draw a straight line from one end of the bridge to the other, it's curved. So, yeah, we're going to be going over that late this week, probably Thursday. It'd be good to have you over there, because some of the shit they say... Thursday, I think, DP. Yeah.
Yeah. If you...
Just some idea, man.
Oh, you're breaking up there, DP.
Debate discussion. I'll tell you what, I'll go and get it and I'll drop it back in there. There's a meme. How am I?
Since horizontals, we established earlier, are a plane, and the horizon is a plane, all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon. Yeah, Rumpus has said it. He agrees. Ruhif, not so
I
much.
agree with that.
You would agree with that one.
That's perfectly logical, yeah.
That is perfectly logical. Wow. See, now, the most logical statement, right, also happens to be the one with the most proof, right?
What? Well, I've no idea what proofs you have for that.
Proposition 30, I think it is. Do you want me to read it? I will read this, because this is, you know, like Euclidean geometry. Is sort of like you have the definitions and the axioms and the postulates, and then you go through a load of propositions, right? And the propositions are proofs that the axioms and the definitions that you gave earlier are true, right? It's a self-proving system. That's what an axiomatic system is, right?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay, so everything in here you'd say is pretty much provable, right? These things. So this one says proposition 30 is a theorem with a QED at the end. Right, so it's just a theorem. Straight lines which are parallel to the same straight line are parallel to each other.
Just tag team or what?
Yeah, where did we leave off with 50?
Oh, it was right. That was right to hand, wasn't it?
We need to go through 50's list, don't we?
It's not 50 anymore. It's like 15.
Yeah.
That'd be 50 cents.
Do you think Gently tapped out for 50?
Don't know. Until 50 says something, we're not got a clue.
That's not going to be any better.
Well, let's hope his mic's better than Gently's. Fucking hell, that was awful.
I think he was in the studio. He had speakers all around him, so he could hear himself yell. I'm not talking loud enough. He won't let me speak.
That was great. I want to do that again.
Hell no.
Did I get it to shout a bit too much?
Nah.
He did get
No,
annoying.
not at all.
Gently, shut the fuck up! I like that one. That one was my favorite.
It's good. Did it sound like a bit too much like QE?
No.
No. QE's more of a dick when he does it. You are just trying to get a fucking
wording.
person, you know,
Throw
It's
a
not-
mute method on
talk.
there.
I think his mic was bad though, right? He was definitely feeding that through, because when his mic was open and you talked, it was as though the feed went through. Right, something
it sounded like he was
else
talking to you in a
opened.
box.
He may not have headphones on. I mean, I could give him
Nah.
that, but yeah, he's probably feeding it out.
Which is probably why 50's here now. More obfuscation.
50 came in last night after you guys left.
Yeah, he waited for us.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what he
he
said.
was here for a while talking to Exposed, and Plague was here for a little bit, and then Plague left, and then I stayed for a little bit, and I
How
just couldn't
long?
take any more bullshit, and I left.
How long after I left was that? Because I left at
Uh,
2:30.
Probably about 20 minutes after you left, actually.
Oh, right. I was sound asleep.
Like a bed.
Yeah.
You were soundly asleep. Is that
No.
when your brain shuts down? Is that when your brain shuts down?
Get this, okay? DP, get this. He said he's never seen me in this server ever.
Whoa.
Who, 50?
Yeah, he's never seen me in this server ever.
Well, he's never seen anybody apart from Bev in this server ever.
You can't see me.
I'm like, what?
I've seen that.
Motherfucker, I'm here every goddamn. I've been here every day since this server started, bitch.
Oh. Yeah,
Run
but
this bitch.
he's saying you're not here enough. That's what he's saying. He wants to see you here more. Turn up.
Oh,
You need
yeah.
to be
Well,
putting
thank
more
God
hours in.
he's dropped his infatuation with me at last. Thank God.
I know, he still
He's
likes
not-
you.
He's not phoning me at 1 o'clock in the morning anymore.
Is it? Have you
wanna
started
be my
drinking
friend
early?
Now you want to go out and have some good times, huh? Does that sound good, huh? You want to be my friend now, huh?
I mean, we could change that. I can start ringing you at like 1 again.
Don't you fucking dare.
I will. I'll make it 2, big boy.
What?
Big
Did you
boy.
say-
Hey, see,
what's
look,
up,
he's
Dick?
still not lost it. DP,
Oh,
you've
who's
still
he been
got it.
talking to? That's what I want to know.
What?
Who's you been talking to? Calling me
Who-
big boy.
Who have I been talking? Who have I been talking to?
Who have you been talking to? How many more times are you going to say that?
Does he
Who
speak
have you been
English or not?
Yeah. How many more times you been talking
Well,
to?
I mean, that's just like you're asking me, like, am I standing up? That's just not making much. It's not really computing.
Are you standing up?
Are you standing
No, I
up?
guess you're in a chair.
Am I standing up?
I don't know. You just stood up then, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
That's kind of
And,
snotty.
and
Well,
I don't
that's
really
not-
care whether you're standing up or not.
Who
That
am I
was
talking
totally
to?
gay, that, right? Actually standing up, because you could say, I am actually standing up now, because when you were actually sat in your chair.
I've been standing up this whole time.
No, really.
I have.
Waiting your turn.
I'm sitting down.
Waiting your turn.
But I was talking to whoever was talking to me. I don't know their name. I'm not looking.
Yeah, what the hell is in your nose?
I'm fucking talking to you.
Fucking cats are in my fucking nose.
You're allergic
Okay.
to cats?
Yeah, give it a second. It'll go away. I know it's fucking annoying. It's annoying for me
Gee, you
too.
sound like Snots McGee.
I know. It'll go away in about
Who had that?
2 minutes.
That was somebody.
hopefully.
That was the Davros as well. Is it? You've not been kissing Davros, have you?
No, it's just the fucking 4 cats my girlfriend has.
You got the Rona.
Yeah. You need to be getting that
Corona.
vaccine.
Hi, Corona.
It's getting better.
I drink Corona. 3 Covaliner pints. Bam, that's the radio.
So have you been watching any videos, 50? Have you been seeing a thing? I mean, I did say to Cleary the other day and everyone, once we put these 7 basic, fundamental, demonstratable facts of reality out, then have you seen them?
Without a mouthful. Can you go through that again? The what?
The 7 We might make it more. There probably is way more than that. But 7 basic, demonstrable, depends how you want to say it. Facts
Depends
of
which
reality.
side of the pond you're on, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
you have
demonstrable sounds brilliant, doesn't it?
that gets on my nerves. I've heard it too often. It fucking grinds my gears.
So we go with demonstratable then.
I like.
You like the fact that they are demonstratable, right?
More English.
I think that's
Seven is
better.
good.
You'd have to take a poll to really know. But if I hear something too often like cuck or demonstrable or pog or these other things, after I hear them too much, they start to grate on my nerves, and it just gets fucking annoying.
I hear cuck quite a bit.
Huh?
Yeah. I bet you
might
hear
cuck too often.
Do many people address you as cuck?
I couldn't understand what you're saying.
Cuck. You said you hear the word cuck too much.
Cuck.
You should tell people to stop calling you it.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not people calling me a cuck. I just hear it.
You just use it a lot.
No, I don't use it. I just see it all the time online.
You just watch a lot of videos like that. That's your thing, is it?
No, it's like YouTube.
You do some misspelling on your Googles, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it was supposed to be cooking, home cooking.
Does anybody even know what the real fucking word means anymore?
I don't know.
What word?
Cuck.
I don't know. Like you say, you're the one that seems to end up with it on your Google.
Yeah,
so, I mean, I don't know how that happens.
Wait, hold up. You really don't know what it means?
Yeah, it's like being cuckolded by the globe.
Mm-hmm.
Does nobody know what it means?
Yeah, cuckoiled. It comes from the cuckoo, right?
No.
Yeah, it does. Of course it does.
No, it's like, okay, Bev, you got a girlfriend, and I'm gonna come in there and I'm gonna give her a good fucking, and you're gonna watch.
You think so, right?
That would make you a cuck.
Right, but I'd definitely not. I've never seen that on my Google feed a lot.
Or if you go around defending the globe 24 hours a day.
Yeah, I suppose you might hear it a bit.
Yeah. I don't defend the globe 24 hours a day.
I reckon it's that advertising, right? They've got you sussed. Google's been listening to you.
Bev's missus would give you a good beating.
I use DuckDuckGo mainly.
They're still listening in, man. Giving you hints and tips on your personal life. Maybe he's trying to tell you something.
Great. Who? The great Google or the great
great Google?
DuckDuckGo?
Yeah.
Fuck Google.
So, have you seen the 7 basic? I'm guessing you have because you wanted to obfuscate into Cookland rather than stay on.
I don't know. No,
7 points of right.
Yeah.
You gotta beat my 27, so you need about 20 more, Playboy.
Okay. Well, what's your opinion on a straight line?
What?
Yeah, what's your opinion on a straight line? Like, is it?
What kind of question is that?
Well, it's just you'd be surprised. I mean, you really would be surprised. I reckon I could bet you that you would be questioning whether a straight line is actually straight pretty quickly, right? Your understanding of what you think a straight line is will be questioned by yourself pretty soon. So
no, I know enough about geometry to know that there's more than one.
Tell me what you think a straight line is at the minute, then.
So the way I would define a straight line is basically moving forward without turning left or right.
Wow. You wouldn't even try it geometrically.
that defines it geometrically.
What? But
You move.
by you moving around?
Well, I mean, not me. I'm just saying, like, basically a.
Oh, I don't know. You broke up then.
To trace a straight line.
Trace.
Yeah. Walk, define, whatever you want to call it, to make a straight line on the XY plane. You have to basically move forward and not deviate left or right.
Okay. When you're saying XY plane, are you talking Cartesian coordinate system? Because that XY plane is the horizontal plane, right?
Yeah, I mean, it could be any of the. It could be XY, it could be YZ, it could be ZX, whatever.
Really? But those would be like, you wouldn't be walking on those planes, would you? You can only walk on the XY plane, can't you?
Well, I mean, it's all relative. You could define.
What do you mean it's relative?
Well, in aviation,
Z is the vertical, right? You did that last time, didn't you? I mean, we're getting beyond the point here, right? 50. We're just on a straight line. Don't get confused with Cartesian coordinate systems and all of that. Stay right at the very basics. This is step 1. Straight line. Right? It is, I'll give you a hand, right? 0 curvature.
No.
No.
No, okay. So
Hey, 50.
Hold on. Let me
Straight away. No. Denial.
50, real
First
quick.
step.
Is a radius a straight line?
A radius a straight line. A radius is defined by a straight line.
Is a radius a straight line?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what a straight line is.
Mm-hmm. Well, we do get there later on. We'd like to sort of play with a bit. So, a straight line 50. Are you allowing for a little bit of curvature? Or are we going to say that a straight line it isn't a curved line? Would it be easier to say what it isn't than to say what it is? Sort of like falsification within the scientific method, but with a line.
Well, I mean, there's different areas, right?
It's undefinable, really. So, because it just
straight
is.
line?
Yeah. It's undefinable because it is the element that you start off with. Everything else needs that to be defined. So it's much easier to define it as what it isn't than what it is. Although Euclid does a very good job of axiomating it. But go on then. What would you say? Go on.
I found references in Euclid books talking about straight lines on curves. I sent it to God's scalpel. I can maybe dig it up and send it to you.
But you realise that if it's on a curved surface, then it's curved, right?
Well, it could be curved and straight.
It can be curved and straight. Did you just say?
Yeah, let me give you an example.
Oh my God, we can't even get to the first point.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's brilliant, isn't it? This is the Cog-Dis test, right? I did say scale 1 is these people obviously have heard the thing. So I initially said 50, I will have you questioning what you think about a straight line, and not realizing that he's absolutely unsure and deluded about what he thinks a straight line is in the first place. So, wow. Can I not help you out with this, 50? I'll try, right? A straight line has no curvature, 0, none. The moment a straight line has any curvature, deviation from the straight, it turns into a curved line. Right? And at the moment it does that, it stops being a straight line. It then becomes a curved line. So A straight line is zero curvature.
Yeah,
No.
in Euclidean geometry.
No, that wasn't within you. That's not how Euclid defines a straight line. It can't be defined. Euclid. Do you want me to do it again? I mean, I did this earlier, right? So in Euclid, you know how it works. It's a system, right, with definitions. It starts off with definitions. This is literally the very beginning of it. It says Euclid's Elements, Book 1, definitions. A point is that which has no parts or which has no magnitude. A line is length without breadth. The extremities of a line are points. Right? Now, this is the killer, right? Because he's already explained that. The extremities are points. And a straight line is that which lies evenly between its extreme points. Right? Now, because Euclid hasn't defined a piece of paper, he's not defined a surface, he's not defined any of that. He's just started with a point and then told you what a line is, and then told you a line stops at one point and starts at another point, 2 points. Could be wiggly in between it, right? But then he says a straight line is that which lies evenly between its two extreme points. Evenly just means there's no wiggles in it. It's straight line, direct from one point to the other. No deviation. That's what Euclid says, right?
Yeah. Are we talking about in a two-dimensional plane or a three-dimensional world?
I just said 2 points. Where did Euclid put the points?
Well, I'm just wondering...
at the ends of the line. That's it. Where did he put the line? He didn't. It's geometry. Can be anywhere. This Euclidean geometry is within three-dimensional space. He just starts off axiomatically and explains it from the beginning and explains triangles and all of that within the two-dimensional plane. You get onto the three-dimensional, but this obviously works in reality because this is what we use. Pretty simple. So, straight line.
This is an abstraction, though. This isn't.
No,
reality.
you're obfuscating. Can you please tell us what your definition of straight is, if it's different than what I've just said?
I told you my definition like 3 times, basically. A straight line is a point that doesn't deviate. A straight line is that is traversed and doesn't deviate left or right.
Is he cutting out for everyone, or is that just me?
Yeah.
So a straight line
is a point, is all I heard, and then you cut off. A straight line is a point.
Okay. A straight line is a point that moves.
No.
And when it
a
moves,
a line isn't a point. A point is a point.
Yes, but I'm gonna take the definition of a point. I'm gonna extrapolate a line from it.
No, a point is that of which has no parts. Are you going to redefine that?
Okay, well, if a line has no breadth, then it also basically has no part, because no breadth means it doesn't exist.
Exactly. It's one-dimensional.
So
it is within geometry.
There.
It is just to represent the outer lying edges of the shapes. It is a construct that you have to use. Right now, you can draw it with a pen, paste paper, whatever you do that makes it physical, right? It helps and it aids you, but the actual experience of geometry is in the mind. It's logic. So, what's a straight line to you, 50? And try not to use the word point, because a point is that of which has no parts defined within Euclidean geometry. That cannot be redefined. You do realise that
I'm not redefining.
this stuff within Euclidean geometry can't be redefined by people in Discord chats.
If a point is nothing, then it means nothing. It has no value in this discussion.
It's like biblical.
It's fucking meaningless.
In the beginning, there was nothing. Null, void, nothing. There was the Logos. That's all there was. There was nothing. Well, it starts off like that. It's another famous book that starts off very similar and then builds up and tells you the story of everything from nothing. Well, this is geometry. Very similar. First off, you start off with nothing, a point, that of which has no parts. Then we go from there. So, straight line is not a point because a point's nothing. And a straight line can't be nothing because a straight line's different, isn't it?
Just don't tell me how to argue, okay? Do me a favor here, okay? So what I'm gonna tell you is
I'm gonna go make a brew.
To define a line, I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna start at a point. That's gonna be my starting position, and I'm gonna traverse in any direction away from that point and not deviate left or right. That's a straight line.
Can I try to help you with that?
Hang on, where does that straight line end? 50.
Well, if we're talking about a straight line, it would go on forever. But if it's a line segment, it would just end at an arbitrary point.
Right, so your straight line can be infinite, yeah?
Yeah, but that's hypothetical. That's not a real thing.
Yeah. So I'm not worried whether it's reality or hypothetical, but your straight line can go indefinitely.
Yes, in the mind, it can.
All right, so say your line isn't indefinite; it has a fixed length. What terminates that line? Bearing in mind you have a point at the start, what is the termination of that line?
Who says it has to terminate?
No, your line. We are establishing a line of a fixed length. It's not infinite; it's a fixed length line.
Well, I mean, this is humans. This is basically exercise in human mathematical capability. So, to end
what's
the
it
line,
got to do with maths? What's it got to do with maths?
Well, geometry is a subset of mathematics. But regardless,
mathematics is a subset of geometry. The geometry came first.
I'm not so sure about that.
Well, you don't need numbers for geometry.
To actually teach it, and
you do not need numbers for geometry. All you need is a compass and a straight edge, a pen or pencil, and a piece of paper.
I'd love to see you teach a geometry class without numbers.
Oh, really? You better look into like the bases of geometry 50. Anyway, this is getting off the point, right? You have a point as the start of your line. Your line has a fixed, determined length. What's at the end of that line?
What's at the end of the line? Nothing's at the end of the line. You can stop it at whatever point.
So what determines how long that line is?
You're making it.
He needs a lot of help.
He does, doesn't he? Yeah, off you go,
What is the
Cleary.
shortest distance between 2 points?
That's like asking me, well, hey, you're going skating. How long are you gonna go skating for? Well, as long as I fucking want to. How long is the line gonna extend for? As long as I want the line to extend for.
No.
I don't think you hear me talking.
Cleary, state the question again.
What is the shortest distance between 2 points?
A circle. Okay, a straight line. Come on, that's
there you go.
Bingo.
We all. Unless there is confounding problems, right? Unless you can't travel through a straight line. If you can't travel a straight line,
What? the shortest distance between 2 points, 50, that's all you were asked.
Yes.
Which is?
A straight line, if you...
Right, so between 2 points.
Yes, correct.
Is the bit we're getting at.
Right.
One at the beginning and one at the end.
Yes, but that doesn't take into account anything in the real world.
How's that? We're just talking about a straight line. How to define a straight line.
Let's say
he's worried he's going to get led down a path.
Oh dear, oh dear. All we're doing is defining a straight line clearly, and he mammoth amounts of obfuscation already.
Let me give you the example I'm thinking of, okay? So you live on one side of the mountain, I live on the other side of the mountain. The shortest distance between us is a straight line, but there's a mountain in between us. So I can't make a straight line to you.
Still, that straight line is the shortest distance.
Correct.
That's all we want. The shortest distance between 2 points.
But you can't consider that in a vacuum. You have to consider that in the context
Can't consider
of the real
that in a
world.
vacuum. Oh, fucking hell. I want to kick him already.
I haven't even said much.
Say that again, 50.
You've never heard that common usage in a vacuum?
What's a vacuum got to do with a straight line?
Maybe it's not a common usage in the UK, but in a vacuum, using that context just means without considering anything else.
No, we're just talking about a straight line. Just a straight line on its own. And how to define that straight line. What defines the straight line?
If a wall separates me and you, what is the shortest distance between me and you?
Actually, that I can travel?
Oh yeah, just that you can drill through or whatever.
I mean, if you're gonna give me like power tools to bust through the wall, yeah, I could bust down the wall and walk straight through. But that seems a little unusual. More likely scenario.
No.
What?
No, you go straight through. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't understand what you guys are getting at with this.
Simple definition of a straight line, 50, that's all. It's the shortest distance between 2 points.
I think he's agreed to it now. Maybe you can move to point one.
Yeah, sorry, I was just away for a minute there. But I mean, did I hear a vacuum-affected straight line may not be straight?
Well, he tried to bring a vacuum into it, but I'm not sure.
What would you mean there, 50? I'll give you a quick example, right? Let's say we've got a big chamber, a container, right? And we're going to evacuate all of the air out of it. But in the middle, there will be a plumb bob hanging, right? Obviously, a vertical. And we extract as much air out of the container as possible. Do you imagine the plumb bob would A, float, or B, somehow the vertical that is established by the plumb bob be affected and it not be straight?
It would act virtually the same as it did before you pumped out the air.
So it would be unaffected by a vacuum then? At least the plumb bob?
Yes, I mean you'd have less pressure in there, but yeah, I mean it would be unaffected in the sense it wouldn't change its orientation.
Okay, so earlier when you said something about a vacuum affecting a straight line.
Yeah, you guys are...
Were you just saying that just to obfuscate, right? And just put...
No.
Were you saying it for a laugh?
No, you guys
Did somebody dare you to say it?
Shut up for a second. I'll tell you.
I think I know what it is. I think.
Shut up.
Let me get this right. Let me see if I got this right. So the vertical changes, but the plumb bob doesn't. So therefore, if the vertical changes, then the plumb bob is no longer vertical, even though the plumb bob never changed in a vacuum. Does that sound about right?
Hold on. Let me go back to something real quick. And I don't think you guys are understanding this. I'm American.
You don't think we are understanding this?
Hold the fuck up. Let me finish my goddamn sentence. Holy shit.
Okay.
In a vacuum is a colloquial term in the United States that means
Colloquially.
He means a metaphor. He means talking about
you don't
something
mean
in isolation.
You don't mean colloquially, do you?
No, he means metaphorically.
Yeah.
He's using the word in a vacuum as a metaphor for talking about something in isolation.
Yes, exactly. That's all I'm trying to get across. I wasn't saying like a real vacuum. I was using it just like what's his name explained.
Okay, like metaphorically.
Metaphorically,
yeah. So what you meant to say was metaphorically, a straight line might not be a straight line.
Well, look, can I ask you a question? Have you ever heard of like digital currency or just digital numbers?
Digital numbers.
Yeah.
Metaphorically, DB is what's his name?
Binary.
I'm going to change my name. I'm going to be what's his name now.
Yeah, what's his name?
I'm fed up with being Phil's blend.
I don't think we can even get to point one with 50.
Right.
I want to change my name to what's his name too.
So I posted.
No, I'm what's his name.
You could be what's his face. One of you could be what's his name, and you could be what's his face.
Whatchamacallit.
Yeah, whatchamacallit. Hoojamabob.
Thingamy Bob.
Right, 50. We are still on the straight line. Are we? I had to go away for a minute and make a brew and talk to the missus. So, did we sort out straight lines? 50. Are we all sorted?
He didn't get point one yet, but he knows what a straight line is: straight through a wall, straight through a mountain, straight like a radius.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we have you define a straight line? 50 back for us.
Well, Euclidean straight line, I would say.
No, just
basically...
when you say Euclidean, what do you mean? Because then this is something that needs to be sorted out, right?
Well, I'm trying to be specific, so we can talk about numbers. So we can talk about numbers. We can talk about numbers in the base 10 system.
We're talking about a straight line, right?
Okay, hold on. So we could talk about numbers. We could talk about base 10 numbers, or we could talk about base 2 numbers. Right? It's really going to change the conversation whether we're talking about base 10 or base 2, right?
It's not. The numbers will stay the same. Just the base changes. We understand that, but we are talking geometrically about a straight line.
Yeah,
right?
So same thing. Same thing here. So if we change our viewpoint, then we can change what a straight line is.
Tried that, did Gently send you in? Did he say has Gently sent you in here? Because Gently was trying to look at things from a different thing before. We're just talking about a straight line.
Yeah.
Right. Within geometry, right? A straight line is a one-dimensional thing. I mean, that's what we say, right? So you can't look at a one-dimensional thing, length without breadth. There's no looking at it because it's a concept, right? It's a straight line. So there's no point looking at it from another direction, right? If you're trying to say straight lines. Unless you're thinking you want to describe a straight line in reality or how you would express a straight line in reality, in which case I think Brandon Toy's the guy for you. That's what they're after. You could have a great time over there doing that. Oh, is he gone? Are you there?
He's back now.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, so can you look in debate discussion?
Yeah. Straight line has no curve. A right line has no curve. A straight line is a right line. That's what it says. That one. Is that you want us
Bam.
looking at? That?
Okay.
You can add bam to the end of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you see the number above it?
Yes.
10010.
Yeah. Can you just define one for us?
Oh, so it's not as simple as it seems, is it?
What?
Well, you don't know what one means?
Yeah, one means one. I know what it means. Yeah. Can you define it? It's like a straight line, dude. It's exactly the same thing. We're asking you
Quantity
to
of one.
define a straight line. You're giving us numbers.
One item. Well, I'm trying to lead this by example and kind of
Lead it by example by showing us numbers when we're asking you to define a straight line. Sounds crazy.
Yes. So that number, hold on. That number can be one of two numbers. It can be 1,000 or 10,010, or it can be 56, depending on if it's binary or if it's base 10.
That's 10,000.
Right?
Yeah.
So here you have one number.
You got your number
and given
wrong.
the system you're working within, it has different meanings.
I don't think he heard you, Bev. Hang on, 50.
You're telling.
No, it's okay.
You're telling me that in geometry, there's only.
You don't understand straight lines and you don't understand numbers. I mean, that's pretty clear.
Just seems funny that he got his own example wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know what number that's actually supposed to be, but I think it's close to 50.
It's not even the number it's supposed to be.
All right, you gotta stay focused. Gotta stay on track.
The point stands. It doesn't change the point.
The
whatsoever.
point, it doesn't even clarify the point.
Talking of
we
points,
don't know what the point is.
No.
But the point was you trying to describe a straight line and using numbers that you got wrong. So.
No, I'm just using a vague example.
Vague.
I didn't.
Very
vague.
Very vague.
I mean, we can get specific. So somebody Google.
Go on then. Just get specific. 50. We're on a straight line. Get as specific as you can to define a straight line for us, please.
Yeah. Google it straight away.
What system are we working in?
Right away. Go on. Off you go.
Right away.
I haven't Googled anything since I've been talking to you guys. What are we? What system are we working in?
What do you mean? What system?
Reality.
What do you mean?
What do we mean? Reality. Which reality? Who did we hear saying that earlier? Curved it was.
So
yes, this reality, 50. This reality that we all live in.
Okay. Well, there's multiple systems in this reality.
Straight.
For example,
straight.
I just showed you that a number has two different meanings depending on if you use base 10 or base 2.
What? So one has a different meaning if you use a different base.
Yeah, so I'm asking you, are we using base 10 or are we using base 2?
You mean there's different realities?
Excuse me?
Or is base 10 and base 2 like different realities?
No.
Oh.
Then we are talking about reality, dude. I don't know why you're bringing up base 10 and base 2. You're talking programming, like coding shit. This is reality.
You cannot define a straight line?
You can't.
50?
But you have to tell me what system we're working in.
Can you obfuscate a straight line for us, 50?
No, he's doing a perfect example.
You're gonna have to tell me. You're gonna have to tell me what system. Euclidean, non-Euclidean, parabolic.
just in reality. You know.
It doesn't work.
A straight line. Yeah, it does. Straight line's a straight line.
Okay, so if I told my kid in real life,
you're an engineer, for God's sakes. My God, you can't define a straight line.
He's
Come on.
not
I'm
an
asking you in what
engineer.
system? I'm asking you in what system. I can define it in whatever system you want me to define
Pretends.
it.
You've only done
define it.
engineering at college, haven't you, 50? You're not an
Pick your
actual
system.
engineer.
I
Pick
mean,
your
that
own
would be
system and define it.
okay. I'll define it in my own system. Okay, so when I was taught as a child to ride my bicycle, my daddy told me to. My daddy told me to hold
How the
handlebars.
fuck have we got from
and
defining a
go
straight
straight.
line to riding a fucking bicycle, 50?
Well, he told me to hold the handlebar straight, and then I would be riding in a straight line, and I could go up and down the hills, and then I could come back, turn around, and hold them straight. Go back up and down the, hold the handlebars straight, and then I could travel.
You curve over a surface, and you call it straight.
Well, that's what my dad called it.
Straight up a hill.
So if I told you,
You're
like,
looking
let's
at
just say
reality like a what, 5-year-old? How old were you? 5 years old when you learned how to ride a bike?
let me.
So you're looking at reality like a 5-year-old?
Yeah, did
Hey, 50.
Let me
Father
give you
Christmas?
let me give you another example.
Hang on.
Hold on.
50.
Hold on. Let me
If
give
you
you another
drop a
example.
pencil, which way will it travel?
Down,
Which
relatively
way?
towards the
Curving
earth.
down, or
Towards the earth.
which way will it fall?
Towards the earth.
Which is what? Curved down?
What do you? I don't understand. It's down. Down typically means towards the earth. Or I would say down always means towards the earth.
Like in a straight line?
Yeah. But let me give you an example. Let me give you an example.
Isn't it amazing how these truths easily come out when people ask you the right question? So why
Well, like
at that
I said,
point
we're
did
depending
you
on
know
what
what a
system.
straight line was when somebody was asking you, but when you are asked to define it, you don't?
I did define it.
What? By showing your dad how to ride a bike and go into numbers?
No, I told you you traverse forward and you don't deviate. You don't deviate left or right.
Yeah, but you could go up or down.
I asked earlier if that meant, or if you meant not up and down. Like a straight line is not left to right, but up and down is okay. Side to, or diagonal is okay, but that doesn't make any sense. That's not straight. That's still a deviation from straight.
We've all used it in our lives over and over again when we're kids or when we're adults. And let's just say you're a kid.
Yeah, but some of us stopped thinking like kids and grew up and learned how to actually like build things and work in reality. And that's what we're asking you to do.
Yes, and there's different schools of geometry. Originally there was Euclidean, right? And then after people thought about it for a while, they realized, oh, we can apply similar ideas to shapes that aren't flat.
So geometry was.
How long did they think about it, 50? How long was a while? How long did they have to think before they came up with this other geometry?
Just before we do, right? Because Euclidean did 3-dimensional shapes. They are curved shapes, right? So whatever you're thinking about, 50, it's already there within Euclidean geometry, right? The curves are there in reality.
No, but we're talking about like defining, or we're talking about basically sticking something to the surface of an object and then doing the geometry at that point.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? The
Just
geometry of 2-dimensional surfaces, right, is Euclidean.
Don't be purposely obtuse, okay?
No, I'm not. I'm just being
This is
honest
not
with you.
obtuse.
Just direct.
If anything, you're being obtuse. Talking about like riding a bicycle straight up and down hills.
What am I being obtuse about? I understand.
I just said it.
When I say you drop a pencil, you can't even say that it falls straight down.
I said it falls straight down.
That's a straight line, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it was like pulling teeth trying to get.
I mean, unless you give it. unless you give it some velocity in one direction or another
I
direction.
don't even think we got to point 1 yet, did we?
No, we've not. It's
No.
straight line is stuck again. It's even
Hold on, let me
harder,
get
this
let
one,
me get a
than
ball.
Gently did it earlier. I mean, this is... Like, you
Oh,
wouldn't
they
think it'd
clearly
be
did.
so... Oh, how
Trying to
50...
find
Can we just do a thing? Age check. Can you just give us a higher or lower? Gently offered up. He was 42.
What?
Yeah, Gently.
What are we talking about?
Gently says he's 42. Are you older or younger than 42?
Yeah, younger.
Right, okay. Now, at the age that you are, did you ever imagine you would be getting into a conversation with somebody and discussing a straight line?
No.
Right, now,
That's
if
why.
you were to explain a straight line or be asked to explain a straight line to a child, do you think you'd have as much problems as you are having at the minute if you had to do that?
How am I having problems? I've defined it 3 times now.
You've done it through numbers. Fantastic.
No,
I've never
I
had
didn't do
anybody do that
numbers.
before. Through riding a bike. And what was the other one? I've missed the other one, the third one.
Dropping a pencil. I think we agreed with that one.
Oh, yeah, dropping a pencil.
I said the main one was walk forward and don't deviate left or right. One sentence.
Okay, but what about up and down, though? Was what
Well, I say
Mobius asked you. Yeah,
that was my definition of a straight line.
So,
okay?
would
if
a
it's not
deviation
included-
in the vertical make a difference to your straight line or not?
In-
Like, because look, can you see in
in
debate?
non-Euclidean, no.
Can you see it in debate discussion?
I mean, that kind of
It
makes
says
mountains flat.
yeah.
So
it
are you a
says
flat
2D.
earther? 50? Are you a flat
Doesn't
earther?
make mountains flat just because you can draw a straight line over them.
Well,
That
a
has
straight
nothing to do
line
with
is just
flatness.
forward without deviation left to right. So if you're going straight towards a mountain, that mountain is, you're going in a straight line. So that flattens that line, right? That flattens that mountain. Are you a flat earther?
Doesn't flatten the line.
Well, you're going straight.
Yes, in non-Euclidean geometry, again, just like with
In what?
binary
Sorry,
numbers.
in non-Euclidean geometry. What?
Non-geometry.
Yeah, non-Euclidean geometry.
Where? You said you were walking. Yeah?
You know what else is non-Euclidean geometry?
Non-Euclidean geometry. There's Euclidean, non-Euclidean.
Algebra is non-Euclidean geometry.
There's a lot of
because
different.
it's not geometry.
Then what is it?
It's
Well,
not geometry.
Algebra
It's
is
what is
sort
it?
of
concept.
formulated
It's a
from
concept
the
that doesn't
geometry.
describe reality.
Prove to me that it's not geometry.
This cup in front of me that I'm drinking off here is non-Euclidean geometry. In fact, we have made up a non-Euclidean geometry. It's called imaginometry. Now that is definitely non-Euclidean because it's about as far removed from Euclidean geometry as possible. What we did was we went, right, here's Euclidean geometry. We want to make a not Euclidean geometry. So we did. We just like disregarded all of the geometry stuff and like straight lines. Who fucking needs them, right?
You don't disregard them.
What do you mean not in non-Euclidean or imaginometry? Of course you do. It's all in your mind,
It's
right?
all-
You can straight line can be anything you want it to be. It's all up to you.
Bev.
You can never draw it, you can never express it, but you can talk shit about it and you can change it whenever you want. You can do whatever you want with imaginometry.
Bev, geometry itself is imaginometry.
Is it? Your geometry,
Wait,
is
hold
that
on, hold
what you...
on,
It's nice
hold on,
of you
stop,
to
hold on,
admit
stop,
that.
Hold on, stop, hold on for a second. How is my non-Euclidean geometry imaginometry,
Because
but
you're,
yours isn't?
you're
But yours isn't.
imagining it.
And you aren't?
Yeah, because it's Euclidean geometry. It's provable.
And I can prove non-Euclidean geometry. I can do it right here in my living room.
Go on then. I like it. Yeah.
Okay, let me
Of course you can.
Let me get a basketball. Hold on.
Right. Okay.
Let me get a basketball and a protractor.
Right. It's got
And
to
I'll
be
show you,
good.
and I'll show you that on I'll show you that on a sphere, a triangle has more than 180 degrees.
Ooh, a triangle on a
Bam.
sphere. Bam. You've got Simon Dan. Have you got a 60-degree equilateral triangle?
Fuck, I don't know if I have a protractor.
Doesn't really
Let me
matter.
see if I've got.
Doesn't matter. We can imagine. We can imagine.
He'll do anything he can. Gently send him in here. He'll do anything he can to avoid the 7 points of right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Simon Dan, right? I best tell you 50 before you go any further. Simon Dan said that an equilateral triangle, it has 60 degrees in each corner, right? Well, he says, it doesn't matter how long you make the sides. They're either 1 centimetre or 100 miles. The angles always stay the same, 60 degrees.
Say it again? I'm sorry.
Go on. You go first. I'll cue it up and get it ready for you.
I'm kind of multitasking.
Okay.
Multitasking
what? Finding a protractor.
And a sphere that'll work.
A sphere. Not a ball.
Yeah, my nuts are almost big enough. My nuts are almost big enough, but not quite.
A sphere. Not a ball.
Don't fear the sphere.
Okay. Right, well, yeah, I'm no scared of it. I'm just pointing out that a sphere is what, like you guys like to say, to stick to your geometry facts and all of that, right? A sphere's a 2-dimensional surface in a 3-dimensional manifold. You have one of those, do you? Handy? No wonder you're struggling. I bet you can't find one.
I found one.
Wow. Or do you mean you found a ball?
Can you really have possession of those anymore? I don't know.
Unless you're doing the thing where you're kind of switching terms on me. I forget what that's called, but you're like using the same term to mean 2 different things. It's a common tactic in debates.
Where those 3 levels are going to curve,
Who's taught you
make
that?
any allowance for any curvature.
When they are hundreds of miles long?
Absorbing information. So I got a sphere here. I'm looking for my protractor. We've done this.
You keep breaking. Is that my connection or is that?
I just dropped out, big time.
My push to talk on iOS sucks. Let me get on my my computer. Actually, should be much better.
It's not too bad. Everybody bleached out a little bit, I think, today.
Yeah, my computer's sort of struggling.
Bad internet day.
75
Mondays, isn't it?
And if you come to the floor, it's 77 degree or 105 degree.
So you're telling me
77 and 105 equals 182 degrees.
Telling you.
You're telling me I can't define angles on the surface of a sphere?
Saying you can't measure an angle between the curve.
Okay, I've seen a bit of an
Why?
issue here
Why
already.
can I not define angles on the surface of a sphere?
Because we did go through this with Gently. Did Gently not tell you this? You have to get you to go through it again. Because does he want you to have the same pain that he had? I mean, we are still on straight lines, right?
Is it that?
Is what?
You telling me why I can't define angles on a sphere?
Cool. I will put.
Yeah, an angle is the inclination between 2 straight lines. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, go on. I'm finding the thing for you, right?
Yeah, an angle is defined as the inclination between 2 straight lines. You cannot have a straight line on the surface of the sphere.
Yeah.
You can't even define a straight line yet.
That's true.
It's it is 9 actually. It becomes obviously, wait a minute. Goes on to number 7. Number 8 is a plane angle is the inclination of two lines to one another in a plane which meet together but are not in the same direction. Right, a plane rectilinear angle is the inclination of two straight lines to one another which meet together but are not in the same straight line. You know an angle 50?
Yes.
How many angles are there?
Silly question, but okay.
Go on.
No, go ahead.
You tell me, how many angles are there?
How many angles are what? You broke up at the end.
How many angles are there?
In what? In reference to what?
Well, just anything.
There's an infinite amount of angles. It just depends. It's an infinite amount of angles. It just depends on how precise you want to get.
Okay,
what decimal place do you want to measure it to? You want to measure it to a tenth of a decimal place, or 100th, or 1,000th, or 100,000th, or a millionth?
Okay, brilliant. So you're going to divide something up, are you? In order to find a decimal place of that.
Say that again?
You're going to divide something up into pieces, are you? In order to find an angle?
Divide something up into pieces in order to get an angle. No, I'm not sure that's how you get an angle.
Well, what? I'll give you a clue. What is 90 degrees as an angle? What is it? What does that mean? Why 90? What's that mean? Does it mean anything? Does that number mean anything? Or
90?
Can we just say it's a right angle? Does it need a number for any reason? Like, why?
I mean, it needs a number for multiple.
Because you want to call it an angle, right? Otherwise, it'd just be a right angle. It doesn't need a number, does it? It's the right angle. So, why is it 90?
Why is it 90? Because 360 is a full revolution, and that's a quarter of a revolution.
Okay, so an angle is the division of a circle into 360 degrees.
Correct.
Okay, now, each one of those degrees, let's say it's a 1 degree, would that be the radius of a circle depicting the two straight lines with the angular division between it?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Don't answer that, sir.
Angle. Right? Is that the division of 360 degrees? Like different lines on a circle. They radiuses.
Yeah, if you have basically a center point of a circle, and you have a bunch of radiuses in quotes going from the center of the circle to the edge, and then you have them along the connecting from the center point to the outside point. Yeah, those are all angles. I don't really know what you're getting at.
Angle is the division between the inclination of two radius lines to one another. Right? The amount of that space between the two is what we could term an angle.
You can get rid of the radius.
Pardon?
You could get rid of the radius completely.
And then you'd have a 360 degree angle, wouldn't you? Because it's
you don't need to talk about a radius to define basically an angle.
What you do, it's the division of a straight line. The parts of an angle, the corner is called the vertex, and the two straight lines either side are called arms. And the angle is the amount of turn between each arm, or the inclination of one straight line or plane to another. Those straight lines are termed as radius lines because that's an angle. That's literally what an angle is. A radius is a straight line. You cannot have a curved radius line and measure an angle because radiuses aren't curved, and the division of an angle is a circle divided into two with radius lines, right?
Excellent. Yes.
Straight lines are provable. This is geometry, dude. You can't just come at it from no reason and say, no, not that. Straight lines are straight lines because they're provable.
No, not that. I'm saying expand your horizon. Quit. Would
that be a chord?
There's more than one type of geometry. Just like there's more than one type of number. Hold on. Just like there's more than one type of geometry, there's more than one type of number system, right? We have a decimal number system, which is base 10.
Why are you going back to numbers, 50? What are you doing?
Well, if you let me finish, you'll know why.
50 numbers have got nothing to do with geometry.
Well, why don't you let me finish my example and then you can interject, okay?
Finish your obfuscation, you mean?
No, I'm making a direct analogy here. So,
an analogy.
Yes, an analogy. So, like I said, base 10 is something we're all familiar with. But computers use binary numbers, which is base 2. So you have numbers, and this is geometry, right? The numbers are the analogy to geometry. And in one set...
Sorry, whoa, what did you just say?
In my analogy, the numbers are the geometry.
No.
Yes. Well, you don't get to describe my analogy to me, okay? So let me
better analogy because that's
no. Go on. This is imaginometry, right? Like you can,
let me
course, you can throw numbers in there. Like it's an analogy.
Let me finish the analogy. All right, so you have two systems. You have decimal or base 10, and you have binary, which is powers of 2. And you also and then in my analogy. The geometry is the numbers in each of those systems. And in each of those systems, the numbers are represented differently, but they have the same meaning. So it's almost a perfect analogy for what we're talking about here.
Really? No, try better than that, 50. That was awful.
Obfuscation. What
the numbers are the numbers, and the numbers are an analogous to this, and it's perfect. I bet it worked really well in your head.
What was awful about it?
Who have you got listening in, 50? Because you sound shite again. It's nearly as bad as.
Being purposely obtuse. If I'm completely honest with myself, you're purposely pretending not to understand.
Purposely pretending not to understand your analogous reasoning. Where you compare numbers to geometry and different bases to something to do with geometry, but you don't really understand what geometry is. You don't even understand what a straight line is. The fundamentals.
In what system, Bev? There's multiple systems. Just like in math and with numbers, there's multiple systems. What system are you talking about? Are we working in Europe? Working in the European Union?
We're just talking about the straight line.
Where are we working? What system are we working with?
Straight line, gently.
50, you're spiraling, 50.
What system are we working with?
Just a straight line, dude.
Just no system. So complete anarchy, no system.
Straight line, in reality, that's all we're asking you to do. Try and explain it to a child. You're doing it with numbers and things and straight lines and angles.
This has been well over an hour. You can't even define a straight line.
did it 5 times. The simplest definition is move forward, don't deviate left or right. Why? I don't know why you guys keep saying I haven't defined a straight line. That's literally, I've been keeping track. That's the 6th time I've defined it.
Yeah, but you could have a curve upwards or a curve downwards allowed.
Yeah.
In your definition of a straight line, right?
And what's your problem?
If you just, can I get a clarification? Do you allow for curvature in any direction within your definition of straight?
In non-Euclidean geometry, yes.
Right, okay. Now, in non-Euclidean geometry that you've obviously loving at the minute, can you give us your definition of straight? Not just make one up. Like, no. Not make one up. Do you have wrote down somewhere a thing that says this is what it's called, this non-Euclidean geometry, right? And this is the definition of a straight line, like Euclid has. Do you have that?
Oh yeah, I'm sure I could get it. Okay. I mean, I don't have it like in my back pocket.
Okay. Right, well, you go and find the definition of a straight line that allows for curvature, please, within your redefinition.
Maybe go to the source that taught you non-Euclidean geometry and what a straight line was. Maybe go to that source. Quote it from there. We'll wait here.
3 coplanar points. Like, do you know what that means?
Bam!
I don't know a hell of a lot about non-Euclidean.
Bam!
Yeah. Do you know what coplanar means?
Yes, on the same plane.
On the same plane, right. So what do you imagine 3 coplanar points would be?
All on the same plane.
Nice. Now, a plane is a 2-dimensional surface?
Yes.
Is there any curvature to a 2-dimensional surface?
Any curvature to a 2-dimensional what?
Surface.
Of course, there could be. Of course.
There could be a curvature to a plane.
Well, you said to any 2-dimensional surface. You didn't say to a plane. A plane is defined as basically being
a 2-dimensional surface. Yeah, it's a 2-dimensional surface, isn't it?
Do you know a 2-dimensional surface that isn't a plane? 50.
Yeah, the outside of a sphere, or let's just say a cylinder.
I've got Wow, you're feeding through again.
Jump into the cylinder.
Cylinder.
Maybe we should just give him point 1.
A plane superficies is that in which any 2 points being taken, the straight line between them lies wholly in that superficies. Shout out superficies.
You know that I dug up some old.
So that's good, right?
Superficies.
That makes
been around
sense,
for ages,
right? Because you've got a straight line between 2 points and the extreme points, right? It makes sense that a plane superficies is that which any 2 points being taken, the straight line between them lies wholly in that superficies. Oh, look here. It says, right. It's brilliant the way this is set up, axiomatic. He starts off with the point, and then he does a line and the extremities, and then a straight line. Then it goes straight after it's done a straight line. It says, a superficies is that which has only length and breadth. That's 2 dimensions, right? Length and breadth. And a superficies, in case you didn't know, is a surface. And the extremities of a superficies are lines. So they're the lines around the edge. And a plane superficies is that in which any 2 points being taken, the straight line between them lies wholly in that superficies on the surface. That makes sense, doesn't it? Do you think you could wrap that around a sphere and then redefine a straight line because of that?
No, because that's Euclidean, and that's the space that we typically deal with.
Euclidean.
You're just putting your fingers in your ears and saying no. It can't. It can only be Euclidean, nothing else.
Straight line. Yeah. I mean, does that not work logically? Does that not make sense to you? Or like, was there something wrong with what that said?
No, but what makes us unique and different from monkeys and birds and your turds are basically being able to think and rationalize and realize that there's other situations that can occur that are not the norm.
Yeah.
Right. So if you I've looked at books that basically they're non-Euclidean. They describe non-Euclidean geometry, and they start with Euclid and all of his principles, and then they basically take that principle and they keep every piece of it that they can. And then they form a new set of structures or a new set of axioms that are non-Euclidean in nature, but they derive from Euclidean principles. Okay?
And by your definition, are not the norm.
Yeah. So you can't do. Do you think that they redefine the definitions of these words, like circle, and square, and straight, angle?
No, they're not redefining it. They're defining it in a new system.
Right. So where have you got a definition that where you can measure an angle to a curve, bend a straight line whilst keeping it straight, get parallel lines to intersect? Because all of this stuff is needed, right? It's absolutely necessary for you to have this within your non-Euclidean geometry, because all of this stuff is defined within Euclidean. Right, so I find it very nice that you go away from Euclidean, right, and just go to non-Euclidean without a basic fundamental understanding of what Euclidean geometry is, in order for you to say not that. It's genius. Whoever's done that to your 50, whoever's done it, they've worked in
You're really not telling me what the problem is. You're just saying you don't like it, basically.
No, I'm saying this book, Euclidean Geometry, fits reality perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. Right? And in order for you to go wherever you're going, you have to, not me, you have to redefine a straight line. Which is fantastic.
No, I'm not redefining a straight line. I'm keeping the original definition of the straight line, and then I'm defining a straight line in another system.
In what? Defining it as what in another system? You just imagine you are, but you're not actually doing it.
What? You can. It's so easy. I can fucking show it to you in my living room, Bev. So let me give you another example, okay? Like, have you ever heard the term hydrophobic?
Here we go. Another obfuscation.
You know what hydrophobic is?
This is old, 50. We've had this before.
Who was it brought this one?
Yeah. It means, what it means, 50, is it means you're scared of a straight line. You want to just redefine the term straight line, and what you're doing, everyone can see, right? You want to make it not straight. You want to redefine a straight line as being something that it isn't.
I want to use the term straight line in another example. The original definition of a straight line holds, but we're going to look at a special case, and we're going to use the closest name to the phenomenon that we're seeing.
Dude.
For my example with hydrophobia...
50. Whoa, 50.
Oh, well. I want to finish my hydrophobic example and see what you have to say about that.
We've heard it
It's
before.
an obfuscation 50. We've heard it. You're not the first one to bring it.
Yeah. No, it was. It was 50. He's brought it before. We've heard it before from 50.
It's just pathetic.
When he was losing 2 or 3 of his points that night that we did it last time. When you offered your nuts up for your model.
Yeah, I bet you my nuts.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
But yeah, it's willing for you to show now that you're willing to bend a straight line. Like you're just trying to redefine a straight line as a bent line.
No.
Yes.
You're using constraint.
No, yes, definitely. That's what you're doing.
50, you're using fight the flat Earth geometry.
You're being purposely obtuse, Bev. I don't believe that you're not capable of understanding this. I refuse.
Obtuse is an angle, right? Larger than 90 degrees. 2 straight lines, dude.
Obtuse is an angle, but it also means you're being purposely slow to understand.
No.
Oh dear, 50.
I don't believe you. I don't believe that you don't understand these concepts. I don't believe that you can't wrap your head around this.
You've been here for an hour and a half and you can't even define a straight line. You're the one.
I've defined a straight line 7 times.
And do it right now.
Yeah, go on.
7 times.
Go on then. Give us your best one. You practice.
First forwards and don't move left or right.
Can you prove that that's a straight line? Do you have like any geometrical proofs for that?
I could get some. I mean, that's my definition of a straight line. Okay. But that's non-Euclidean.
That's just your definition.
If you wanted the definite, well, that's the definition of a non-Euclidean straight line. If you want me to give you the definition,
don't move left or right, and don't move up and down. Is that right?
I mean, if you wanted to say you want me to define a Euclidean straight line, I would say move forward, don't move left, right, up or down.
Right.
Oh, that's getting close, yeah.
That Euclid. Do you reckon that's what sort of Euclid would say?
But if we're talking about when we're attached to surfaces like humans are, right? We're stuck on the ground.
Attached to surfaces.
Yeah, I mean, I'm attached to the couch right now. Are you not?
Are you drunk?
Drunk?
You said you're attached to the couch.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm not meaning stuck, like fucking glued. I'm just saying.
You mean sat on, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you just use really bad words. 50. You're terrible on it.
Right. Like you don't understand what I mean.
50.
You're being purposely.
Whoa. I've heard so many times, like, you don't know what I mean, right? Now, you're in here talking to us about things, right? You're using your words. Please do not expect anyone else here to know what you mean when you don't say what you mean, right?
Words have meaning, Bev.
Yes, they do, right? Please try and use the correct words and not expect other people to know that you didn't actually mean to say the words that you did. You meant something else. Because we don't read minds. None of us here. None.
Good morning.
Morning, Rob.
How you doing?
Hey. So 50, please use words.
I'm stuck and see if I'm wrong here.
I didn't hear what you said then.
I'm gonna look up the definition of stuck and see what it says.
Stuck. 50. What's the obfuscation for? Why are you looking up the definition of stuck?
Dude, you're the one obfuscating. You want to obfuscate? I'm gonna obfuscate a little bit more. We are stuck on the surface of the earth. We are stuck on the surface of the earth as a whole. We cannot leave the surface of the earth without some kind of like jetpack or rocket or something. Just as a human being, I am stuck to the surface of the earth.
Why?
What does this have to do with straight lines, 50?
Man, I had a good
Why
point right
are you
there.
going off in the weeds?
Because I'm just talking about why you would want to define geometry in a different way than Euclidean.
That's
right. If I'm traveling over,
that's
hill,
you, 50. You. Stop thinking you are us and we are you. We're not. We're the ones that say straight is straight, no curves. You're the one saying non-Euclidean without even knowing what Euclidean geometry is. It's shameful, 50. Shameful.
I don't know what Euclidean geometry is.
I know you don't.
So now you're being dishonest.
I'm not
There's
being
a nice little
dishonest.
soundbite
You
there.
just said you don't know what Euclidean geometry is. That's you being honest. For once.
I never said I don't know. I said I don't know a lot about non-Euclidean geometry.
You didn't. Like, you have been drinking, haven't you?
You misheard me or I broke up.
You have been drinking, haven't you, 50?
I have not been.
You've not been drinking. Are you medicated?
I need to be.
Yeah, because you
Yeah,
did just say you
certainly
do not know anything about Euclidean geometry.
I broke up and I said non-Euclidean, and you heard the Euclidean part.
Oh. Okay, so you
See,
now
very
claiming
simple,
you
very
do
simple
know about
explanation.
Euclidean geometry then?
Yes.
Right, okay, so what are you saying? That when you measure anything in reality, you do not use Euclidean geometry? Is that what you're saying?
Measure things that aren't attached to surfaces, you use Euclidean geometry.
No, hang on, Bev. Right, 50, you just said you know about Euclidean geometry, yeah?
Basically,
can I get-
I don't have every
Can I get-
axiom memorized.
Right, so define a straight line according to Euclidean geometry for us, please.
I've done this, like, I just did this.
No, you
like,
haven't.
2 minutes
No, you
ago.
haven't. You have given us your definition.
My
I want the
definition is-
Euclidean definition of a straight line, please.
Definition is in line with Euclid's definition.
No, it's not.
How's it differ?
Because Euclid wasn't on a bike for his father.
No, I'm talking about moving forward and not deviating left, right, up, or down.
That has nothing to do with Euclid's definition of a straight line. Please give us the Euclidean definition of a straight line, 50.
That's Euclid's definition reworded.
No, it's not. Reworded. Can you?
Let's give him point one and see if he agrees.
This is really stupid. It's over an hour and he still can't define a straight line. He says he knows Euclidean definitions, but he can't define it according to the Euclidean definitions of a straight line. Over an hour defining a straight line. You're pointless, 50.
You want me to just repeat what Bev said?
No, I want you to give me the definition, according to Euclidean geometry, of a straight line, please.
Okay, so I'll take it that Bev knows what he's talking about. And it was, what, breathless length?
Breathless length? You are medicated, aren't you?
That's not what he said?
No, that wasn't what he said.
Let me look it up. Hold up.
Am I coming through at all?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
So here's a math form who's talking mad shit about Euclid.
No, I want the Euclidean definition of a straight line. No maths formulas. Euclidean definition of a straight line. Please, you said you know how to define Euclidean geometry. So please, a straight line is the basic, fundamental, underlying principles of Euclidean geometry. If you can't even do that, 50, you're fucked.
EP, can you hear me?
We repeated what Bev said. So is Bev wrong?
You're really low there.
No,
Curly.
I want you to define it, 50. Ignore what Bev said. I'm asking you.
Well, I would, if you want me to define Euclid, how Euclid defines a straight line, I would just look up his definition of a straight line. I don't have.
Well, give me Euclid's definition of a straight line, then, please. That's what I've been asking you for.
Okay, just 1 second.
So you tell me that you know Euclidean geometry, and now you have to go and look up the definition of the basic underlying principles of Euclidean geometry. Everything is based on a straight line, 50, within Euclidean geometry. And you have to go and look up the Euclidean definition of a straight line.
I gave you the definition of a Euclidean straight line.
No, you didn't. You gave us your pointless definition of some bullshit.
So how is my definition different from Euclid's?
Doesn't deviate left or right.
I'm gonna take it you can't answer that.
Well, the Euclidean definition doesn't even use the words left or right.
Yeah, you'd need, if it was Euclid, you'd need to define left or right first because it's an axiomatic system.
I really need to define left or right. Like that's where we are right now.
Can we go to point one with him and see if he agrees or not?
You're pointless, 50.
There's a reason that Euclid isn't taught in schools anymore because he uses this very weird flowery language, and you can define the things much more easily without using flowery language. Essentially,
flowery language like what? Give us an example of Euclid's flowery language. Define a straight line for me, 50, please.
Length without breadth.
No, that's not Euclid's definition of a straight line, is it?
Bev said.
It's not.
That's not what I said about a straight line, right? I mean, I may have read that out, but I mean that's not the definition. I mean, I said hello. I mean, that's not a definition of a straight line either.
It's not. Well, that's what you said earlier.
Yeah, I said good morning earlier as well. Or how about imaginometry? Or earlier I said shut the fuck up gently.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
Yeah.
And it was so mean too.
Yeah. Oh, he's another one.
That's not the definition of a straight line either.
So have you got that definition, 50, or are we still...
The definition of a straight line.
I mean, if you have it, you can go and say it. I defined it in my own terms, and you failed to point out how my definition is any different from Euclid's.
Euclid doesn't use left or right.
Left or right.
That's what he did say. That you don't say he failed to point out where yours differs because that was what he said.
And Euclid also wasn't on a bicycle.
Yeah, that was the first thing he said. Yeah, Euclid doesn't talk about his dad's bike.
Just because you're not explaining anything, you're just saying words. Okay. How does
What do you want? Do you want a fucking interpretive dance or something? What the fuck are you after?
Are you telling me you don't
understand this? I'm gonna kick this stupid.
Hang on, guys. Hang on. Can we at least just go to point one and see if he agrees or not?
What, a straight line? Do you want me to get it out again? I'll do it again. Right? DP me. Can you just tell us whether you agree with it or not? We don't really need to go into any sort of discussion about anything about it. I'll just put it up here. There we go. 3 simple statements. Do you agree? 50.
A right line? What's a right line?
Straight line. Bottom one says it. Straight line is a right line.
Why are you redefining terms here constantly?
Sorry?
It's an arcane term.
Why are you redefining terms here constantly?
That is a
Redefining.
Newtonian term for a straight line. So obviously you don't.
There's no curve. In Euclid, okay, so a straight line has no curve. Do you agree with that, Bev?
Absolutely.
Okay, so do you also agree with if you move forward and don't deviate left, right, up, or down, that you'll draw a straight line?
No, because that's you moving forwards. That's you moving forwards. That's not a... How can you draw a straight line by you moving forward? Ridiculous. I'm not going to agree with that.
But okay.
Who's got the echo?
I could take a rope and I could attach it to a point, and then I could walk backwards, not moving left, right, up, or down, and that would be a straight line.
Dude, if we give you enough rope, you'll hang yourself. That sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what I described is exactly what you're describing.
So right, okay, but we're talking about a straight line, and you say if you were to do a straight line in reality, your description of it would be to get a piece of rope and pull it tight.
I'm giving you an example.
Is that I know, but I mean, that was the first thing that you came into your mind. Do you think you could develop that as a real life version of a straight line? And is that what you would use in reality to define a straight line?
Good. I mean, it depends on the situation and what we're doing.
You want to be going over to Brandon's.
If I'm measuring a table, I would want a ruler, which doesn't deviate up, down, left, or right.
Yeah, but that's just measuring distance. You're not measuring for straight, are you? With a ruler. I mean, we are just talking about straight. Like, do you agree with those 3 points?
What?
Those 3 points in that thing. What do you think?
So you're saying a right line is just a straight line?
Absolutely. It's just another word for a straight line. Old
okay, so
school.
This is just a tautology.
It's just 3 statements, right?
Yeah, 3 statements that mean exactly the same thing.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, the last one just puts the two of them together. It just tells you that they're both the same thing. All 3 of them don't mean the same thing, do they? The first 2 mean the same thing, and then the third one tells you how the 2 relate to each other, right? In case you were unsure.
Yeah, but okay, the first 2 are a tautology.
They just to let you know through the visuals of a meme that straight and right are the same. Yeah.
Yep.
Regardless, my definition of a straight line, a Euclidean straight line, it falls in line with this. There's no curve.
There is no curve to a straight line.
Brilliant.
In my proposed
lovely, lovely, well done, 50 at last.
I don't know how long did that take.
Over an hour.
Yeah, that was
over an hour.
Euclidean geometry, yes.
Mind you, at least he got there. Gently didn't even get there.
Can I get a concession that my definition of a straight line was...
It's an hour and a half.
We're still waiting on a... Do you agree with the...
Yeah, he did. He said he agreed, didn't he? I think.
He agrees. Okay. I missed that one.
That's exactly what I said.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna push through the rest of these ones because I think we can go really quickly through these now, right? Here we go. Oh no, sorry.
So did I show you?
Wrong.
Show you the excerpt from Euclid's book that talks about straight lines on curved surfaces?
Which book was that?
Let me grab it real quick.
Euclid wrote a book. Would that book be The Elements? Or would that be a nighttime storybook that he wrote?
Hold on. I sent it to God's Scalpel. I came in here and talked to you about it for a second, but
not geometry then, right?
It's Euclid. It's a guy named Larry Euclid. He wrote a book, like a cartoon book.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you could hear me while I was in my DMs. Let me look through my DMs, and I'll find you the book, and I'll find you the excerpt where Euclid says that you can draw a straight line on a curved surface. Hold on.
Have a look for us when that book was, when it's from.
Probably 5 years
Well,
ago.
it's around the same time that he published The Elements.
He published The Elements. And he got to do a 2-book deal.
Was that after his term as president?
Who was his publisher?
That would have.
Euclid in me.
Yeah, Euclid in
me.
Funny that are you claiming that Euclid doesn't have the capability to write more than one book?
Are you claiming that anything that's not within Euclidean geometry is related to Euclidean geometry somehow?
Yeah, claiming that
like Euclid once wrote a birthday card to Uncle Frank. So,
oh my God!
Wow.
Euclid wrote his own Imaginometry.
Yes. Yeah.
Did he really? Or are you just making it up?
Do you think he wrote a thank you card to his dad for the bicycle?
This card.
Who's next on the shift?
50's. We're just going to whap through all of these level and horizontal.
No, I mean, who's next after 50? Who's?
Oh, he'll be here all day, man. 50 will be here all day trying to get through 7 points. Don't worry.
I'm about out. I'm going to post this and I'll be done.
Well, we've had an hour on the first one, and there's 7 altogether.
An hour and a
that's
half.
a full working day.
Yeah,
Was it an hour
well
and a
over
half?
an hour and a half. Well over an hour and a half.
Surely
That's a proper full working day if we go through all 7 of them then.
Surely they've worked a shift pattern out, haven't they?
I think so. His second shift after Gently made a fool out of himself. He's showing him in. I don't know who's
Well, they like doing
next.
a question each.
No. It'd take about 2.5 hours, 3 hours for him to get through.
Oh, you've been there a while then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we've had a full go today.
I mean, most people you ask whether or not a straight line curves or not, laugh at you.
Yeah. We're trying to see the combined ages, right? I mean, Gently said he's 42, and he'd never expected he'd be arguing or talking about straight lines. And 50's just done an hour and a half.
What did Gently say?
Gently's been 42 for 20 years.
He said, Gently, I mean, it's recorded, right? It's going to come out. I mean, it'd be painful to listen to. Emma had to deafen herself.
So did he accept that it's straight or not?
No, he fought every single apart from the last one. All horizontals are parallel to the horizon. He said that worked perfectly because it was logical. It made logical sense. Then we showed him the proposition within Euclid, which is the actual logic surrounding it about straight lines. And he then had a problem that the horizontals being straight.
He didn't get any right out of the 7. It's looking like Brad, the science guy's on the graveyard shift. He's just popped up.
Yeah, well, Brad.
Well, these are quite confusing questions.
Yeah.
For some people.
Yeah, this is tricky as anything, for right? If you've got a model, then straight lines. Wow.
Are they coming here to be re-educated?
I don't know. I think so, but I mean, I don't know. They may be pushing a narrative that straight isn't straight. You know, straight is curved. Let's go. Level is curved.
They call us fucking ludicrous.
Yeah. Yeah, you supposedly are the stupid ones, right? You just don't know. You don't know how straight can be curved. you that stupid.
Didn't you do the class?
Yeah, didn't you?
Yeah, he uses hyperbolic geometry to defend his position, but he didn't know anything about Euclidean, non-Euclidean geometry.
Numbers. He wanted to tell us that geometry was numbers, and that you could just sort of pretend geometry's numbers, and then numbers are different, right? So, therefore, geometry's different. I can just do what I want.
This is getting into advanced. What's it in it?
Imaginometry.
Imaginometry, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the first step, right? The first step into imaginometry is to go through these 7 steps to find out your cognitive dissonance, what level you are, and then realize the pain, and then imaginometry starts, right? It just depends at what point. I mean, most of these guys, Gently and 50, have already experienced this sort of chat about geometry, right? They've experienced the triggering experience when they find out that Euclidean geometry has proofs behind it that make logical sense. At that point, triggering happens. Imaginometry comes on. It's just switched on in your brain like that. Boom. Straight lines can curve. Like they have to, right? Because these Gently knows and 50 knows that once you get any further down the line of these steps of anything, you're done, right? You're going to have to go back and bend straight lines. Fight the flat Earth, did it?
Angles on curved lines, isn't it?
So here's an excerpt from his book, and it states that 2 circles are perpendicular. Hold on, let me get you the title of the book. This is a book Euclid wrote.
It's a book Euclid wrote? Really?
Yeah.
Is that where the planes of the circles intersect perpendicularly?
Yeah, when's it from?
And the time he wrote the principles.
He wrote the principles.
The ones you're throwing away.
He's talking about Archimedes.
They have their use.
He wrote about Monet.
It's all about the Monet.
See, yeah, De Sphera, see Mognet, 1950, and 19 points out that somewhere in a translation and commentary references De Sphera, Horizon now becomes an as technical and a plain disc. Actually, just like what are all of these? What book did he write? He seriously wrote a book about.
It's about the heavenly sphere, as he calls it.
Oh, right.
Let me find you a link to the book. Hold on.
So
the heavenly sphere.
Yeah, let the plane through our eye produced into the cosmos and bounding the portion seen above the earth be called the horizon. Wow, that's right. A plane through our eye be called the horizon.
Yeah, nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
A plane. Do you know what a plane is?
At the top of the page, it said Euclid's, as like he's talking about himself as a third person.
As a third person. Mm.
So he never wrote it at all.
No. Naps brought that up a while back.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But can I just finish this? Right? Yeah. It says, bounding the portion seen above the earth be called the horizon. The horizon is a circle. Wow, that's good, isn't it? What's a plane again? The definition of a plane is without edges. So how do you have a plane without edges being called a circle? Why not call it a circle? Why call it a plane and then add in circle afterwards? What's the point in that?
So this is this is a book.
Wait a minute, that is a magic trick.
This is Euclid's book, dude.
No.
It's not Euclid's book. How can he be Euclid's book? As Brian has pointed out, he's talking about himself in the third person in the first paragraph.
So let me
Well,
finish.
the point is Euclid.
So if you let me finish what I'm
Phenomena.
saying, I'll explain. Okay, this is a translation of a book of Euclid's, and in the translation there is a preface that kind of walks through some of the language in the translation. Okay, so in that section, it's another author talking about what Euclid is presenting. The very first thing I posted at 12:05, 5 after the hour, is a direct translation.
Okay, can you just see that bit that's highlighted? Just run us through it.
Did he not write this in English then?
Well, no, he didn't write it in English.
Go on, just run us through that, please.
Hold on, I'm trying to dig. You can read it. Read it out loud.
No, you with your vast knowledge of this geometry, just work us through the bit that you have highlighted to explain to us what it means, please. Go.
They're not on the page. I'm searching through my DMs.
No,
so
you have posted this as evidence. Please do not just post a piece of paper and then walk away from it like it proves something. Please explain what it means that you have highlighted. You highlighted it, didn't you?
I explained it in the sentence. Read the sentence
50,
beneath it.
50. You highlighted that, didn't you?
Yeah.
You did. Right, so you purposely picked that out. Please describe to us what that means.
Read the next post.
No, please describe to us what that means. Please.
I did. In the following post.
In the following post.
Yeah.
So
That's
you
not
explain.
you. That's not
what that
you
paragraph
explaining
means.
it. That's you posting
In
another
another post.
picture.
This is so unauthentic, man. This is not Euclid's words.
No, it's not. But
Yes,
I want
it is.
no 50. Please explain it, or just say I haven't got a clue. I cannot explain what the fuck that means. Please, just simply explain it. Go.
Read the next fucking post.
Go. You read it and explain it, please. The highlighted bit, just read that and explain it, please.
We go. Let me go to the DM since you can't read. Hold on. So this is the book is titled Euclid Phenomena. And I'm getting the link now. You can download this for yourself.
Go on. When are you gonna tell us what it means?
So let a circle through of the sphere and perpendicular to the horizon be called a meridian circle.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Whoa. Let a circle through the poles. Where's the circle and where's the poles?
You asked me to explain it, so let me explain it, okay? Let a circle through the poles of the sphere and perpendicular to the horizon be called a meridian circle. So he defined, and you know this, the horizon to be a circle.
Right, so where's perpendicular? Go on. Show us what is perpendicular. Where is perpendicular?
You know what perpendicular is.
Two straight lines, the relationship of two straight lines, two right lines at right angles.
It seems like you and Euclid don't agree here. Because Euclid states here that two circles are perpendicular to each other.
I will say this to you right now, okay? Definition 10. I remember this one because it's one of my favorites. When a straight line or right line standing on another straight line makes the adjacent angles equal to one another, each of the angles is called a right angle, and the straight line which stands on the other is called perpendicular to it. Straight, 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 right, right angles, straight lines, right lines, perpendicular. That's the definition of perpendicular. Right, so just explain to us, where are these circles that you know, that you've so elegantly copied with your pen? You've put like a little marker pen on it. You've highlighted it. Where are these two circles that are perpendicular? Please.
Are they perpendicular?
Mm-hmm.
That's a nonsensical question.
Why, you've highlighted it. Let a circle through the poles of a sphere. Where are the poles?
What about which the Earth rotates?
Where are the poles then of the sphere?
Well, the point about which the sphere rotates.
Oh, right. So okay, but a sphere is a two-dimensional surface, right?
Okay, so now you're. I forget
I'm
the fact.
just doing the geometrical thing like you have, right? So a sphere is not a thing; it's just geometrical. It's not a real thing. A ball is a three-dimensional. A sphere is a geometrical shape, right? So where are the poles on a sphere?
It would be on a ball.
No. They're antipodal, right? Straight line or a great circle or whatever are antipodal. Means that they will touch two straight lines drawn or two lines drawn going in a straight direction on a sphere will touch antipodal. They will touch in two places. Right?
Well, I've actually got to go.
Yeah, I know. I thought so.
I'll leave you with this, and
yeah,
maybe
there's no need for you to leave us with it. It's a load of shite. We know it's a load of shite, 50. And if you're going as well, then we're doing away with all of the shite.
So you are picking and choosing. You're cherry picking Euclid.
I understand what a straight line is, dude.
Look it up. I posted the actual text in chat of the actual full book. You can go and download it. This is
not Euclidean geometry, dude.
I gotta say, you're totally blowing my mind right now.
You twat. How do we know the Earth is not flat?
We don't. It's flat. Understanding of the world in which you live, then of course the world looks flat. The world looks flat. The world looks flat.
Neil.
Bitch. You twat.
I gotta say, you're totally blowing my mind right now.
That's what I do. 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 What I do.
But I don't have much patience for anyone who denies that this challenge is real. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. Flat Earth Society.
My friends, these people are so out of touch with science. You don't need to be a scientist to know that the Earth is round.
they must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society. They would not have believed that the world was round.
Like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash.